elections in the United States of America are just about a month away, and a bitter fight is on between the two top nominees, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, the current Vice President, who has now stepped into the presidential race after Joe Biden stepped out in July, saying that he would not fight this election. On the other hand is Donald Trump, the former US President, who has still not accepted his defeat from the last elections and also has survived 2 assassination attempts in these particular elections. Will Donald Trump be able to ride this sympathy wave and the strong support he has, or will Kamala Harris be the first woman in US history to become the country's president?
We will make America great again.
A second Trump term would be a huge risk for America and dangerous.
I saw you speaking to us a couple of months ago when you were indicating that Joe Biden at that time was in the running, but you said maybe he's struggling a bit because many people think he will not make the cut. With Kamala Harris now coming in and Joe Biden stepping out of the race, do you think the chance of the Democrats has brightened in this election?
Oh, absolutely. I think when you look at after the debate debacle, President Biden's rating was down. The Democrats were kind of downtrodden, not feeling that they can win. And all the numbers shows that Trump was leading by double digit. But now things have turned around. People are excited about Harris. People are excited about the debate she did. People are excited about the convention which took place in Chicago. And so I think there is now an even fight taking place between the two candidates. And so I think Democrats are much more hopeful. And you can see that by the money she's raising. I mean, she's probably spending roughly over $2 billion on this election, and all this coming from small donors, $10, $20. So I think what we are seeing is the grassroots has stepped up and contributing quite a bit to the campaign funding.
Take a look at what happened.
We saw Donald Trump survive at least 2 assassination attempts during this campaign. Do you think there will be a public sympathy factor for Mr. Trump, given the way the assassination attempts happened? He survived them, but he's also spoken about them, how he's being targeted.
Well, there was a sympathy factor early on, but I think that's gone away. I think people are saying, looking at the policies, people are saying which president can lead the country economically, for an immigration issue, on defense issue, the war in Ukraine, war in Middle East itself, dealing with China. So I think the assassination sympathy has disappeared by now.
Hold on, because see, here's the thing. The courts will handle that. Let's handle November, shall we? We'll handle November. We'll handle November.
Hillary Clinton could not do it, but can Kamala Harris do it and create history by becoming the first woman to be the US president? This is a question weighing on the minds of millions of Americans, if America is ready to accept a woman president for the first time. Well, the popular vote amongst the women voters seems to be certainly with Kamala Harris. We are with Danny Bidoni, and her group is about to perform at Central Park, and you'll see the beautiful ladies behind her who are going to perform at Central Park. But ma'am, another big performance is coming up on the elections front in a month.
Yes.
Who do you think is good for the country? Whom are you going to vote for?
I would like to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman, and I think it's time for us together to stand up and help each other out and vote for a woman who can represent our thoughts, our ideas, and who we are.
Also, she has said that, women have rights over their bodies. The whole abortion law has become a huge talking point in America. Why do you think Trump is doing what he's doing about that?
Well, the first thing I would say, something like an abortion means that it's a woman who's taking away something from her body. So the fact that it's a woman who's doing something with her body and she knows what the situations are, I think it's for a woman to say, not for a man to say.
Her group members as well, Kamala or Trump?
Trump.
Trump, very interesting. Why so?
Well, I just like his philosophy. Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Kamala or Trump?
Trump.
Trump again, why so?
Best option for this country.
Really?
Best option for this country.
Great. And who do you think, ma'am? Who is the better choice?
I don't know. I didn't watch the debate even, so I don't think I'm qualified.
Okay. And who do you think is a better choice for the country?
The better choice is Trump. We have to make America great again.
You think Kamala won't be able to do it?
I think Trump will do it.
Trump will do it.
to wake up in a city that never sleeps.
A Supreme Court verdict 2 years ago in America overturning Roe versus Wade has led to 22 American states bring restrictions on abortion. This has become a big issue in the American elections, with the women voters saying they have a rights over their bodies and are backing Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris is saying that not only is Donald Trump the architect of this particular Supreme Court judgment, but he will also bring a federal ban on abortion if he comes to power. This seems to be galvanizing the women voters in the favor of Kamala Harris, with many saying that it is Kamala Harris who has the right policy. She's a woman. She understands the needs and rights of other women, while Donald Trump does not.
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
Who's your choice and why is it so?
Kamala, and because I respect her, I think she puts the country first. I feel that Donald Trump is not someone that I have respect for, or I don't appreciate his views, and I will be very upset if he wins.
The abortion laws in this country have become a huge issue in this election. Do you think Kamala is on what Kamala has said is the better thing on the abortion issue?
Yes, I do, because again, I believe, like they say, that it's a woman's decision. And also already, because of the laws that have been enacted, there are women who have suffered from it and died. And so when you talk about caring about lives, you know, it isn't really about that, because they're allowing that to happen.
New York sees Americans coming from all across the country here to enjoy the views at Times Square. It's also a place teeming with tourists. Here we have a couple from New York. So elections are just around the corner. Who do you think is a better candidate between Harris and Trump?
Harris, 100%. We're tired of Trump. We're tired of that nonsense. He never speak about the issues. What more can we say? Look at his history. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, right?
That's true. That is so true. I am for her too. I'm for Harris too. I like her. She do stand for a lot, and she will be making history. You know, but right now, what she's offering us, like you said, more than what Trump can give us. Because if we have Trump there, Trump is going to give us war. When Trump go in there, I'm expecting to have war with him. So let's keep our finger crossed that she can get in there, because I'm praying for her to get in there.
You think America is ready for a first woman president? Has that day and age come?
Yeah, sure. They was ready for a black one, right? When Obama came in, there's no problem. You know what I'm saying? We just got to stop the nonsense and get back to getting on the right track and where we need to go.
Yeah. It's going to be a challenge having her there, because you do have haters out there. I mean, our men do not like to see a woman in charge. They do not like that at all. So that's going to be the biggest part right there. That's going to be, I mean, God forbid, hope everything work out. You know, she don't have nobody that's coming at her like people coming after Trump. You know, they come after her, they're going to come after her because she's a woman in charge. And men do not like to see women in charge.
So this is Times Square, and we are in a queue for Broadway tickets, a long queue here, and a group of young Americans. And ma'am, the election are just about a month away. Who do you think is going to win? What are the big issues in these elections?
I think it's very tight. It's going to be very tight. I know who I'm going to vote for, and I know why I'm not voting the other one, but I think it's going to be a very tight one.
Donald Trump seemed to have a lot of sympathy when the assassination attempt happened. But since Kamala Harris has entered the race, replacing Joe Biden, it seems the Democrats have a wind in their sails. Do you think so as well?
The Democrats are going to win? That's what you think?
I'm asking.
Yes. Up to a month ago, I thought the Republicans were going to win. But now after the debate, I think it was very, very tight. She did a good job on the debate.
The debate didn't go well for Trump at all, it seems.
No, it didn't. No, especially with what he said about the dogs and eating the dogs and the cats. And no, I don't think so.
Yeah. At the Trump Tower in New York, the word from Camp Trump is that if Donald Trump becomes the US president again, he will bring jobs, he will reduce inflation, and will bring cost of living down for the common American. Speak to people in America and they say that the cost of living in America right now is much, much higher. Gas costs more, groceries cost more, everything nearly costs more. Donald Trump has also survived a number of assassination attempts, and here at Trump Tower you can see the security is also up. You can see NYPD vans stationed all day long outside the Trump Tower, and that is why Donald Trump also seems to enjoy some sympathy, especially amongst his Republican voters. Here in New York, you can see people of all hues come at the Trump Tower to catch a glimpse maybe of Donald Trump. He's not here any longer right now. He's busy in his campaign. But Trump Tower has become a symbol which stands for Donald Trump. And inside you can see various memorabilia of Donald Trump which are also sold daily here for the fellows, for these fans of Donald Trump.
In this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are.
Mr. Musa, so who do you think has the edge in the US election? We're just a few days away from when votes will be cast.
Yeah, I think the last election I voted for the Democrat, but this year I think I'm going to vote for the Republican. Yeah, because right now you see the way the country is, everything is messed up because of those people who are here. We're going to get rid of those people. I think the next election I will vote for Donald Trump because we need him back, I think.
Some people say that Harris, a woman president for the first time. Many women are maybe backing her this time. Biden is no longer there, so Harris may have an edge.
But I don't think that the country is ready yet for a woman to be a president. I think they're not ready yet.
So in Trenton Park, you can find musicians, you can find many people here. This is called the lungs of New York City. People come here for a walk, and we have Jules with us who plays guitar here many a times. Jules, the election is not very far away.
Right.
Who is your vote going to be for?
Kamala Harris.
That's interesting. Do you think America is ready for its first woman president?
Absolutely. We're ready for it. And it's so obvious, I think.
What makes a click, you think? What makes a click?
I would say it's beyond her policies itself is that she's not a selfish person. She thinks about other people, unlike the other candidate who is self-involved. And Edson also has opinions on this, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you want to say, sir? Who do you think is going to be in the election this time?
Trump.
You think Trump's going to be elected?
Yeah,
See,
indeed.
this is, yeah.
Look at the price of the stuff here, groceries, everything is expensive right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the best for America right now.
You want Trump elected? Do you want Trump to be elected?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What do you think makes Trump click?
Economy right now is really bad. It's really bad. The border is another problem. Issue here is a big issue right now. I'm not pro-politicians. Doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. But right now, I think Trump is the better for America.
He's also
was better with Trump in the past. It's terrible with Biden right now. People don't have money to afford the groceries anymore. The price of everything went so high. It's a nightmare right now.
We have some hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work.
We are going to win the greatest election in history.
Who do you think has the edge, and what are the big issues, in your opinion, in the American election this time?
I think it's pretty tough. There's really, I don't pay a ton of attention to politics, honestly, but in terms of who has an edge, I don't know. I feel like people are paying more attention to Kamala Harris now, but then it's also like, after Donald Trump got shot, it was kind of like, okay, how are you supposed to be able to beat that?
On the other side of this break, CNN News18 goes to Delaware, which is the home state of the outgoing US President Joe Biden.
DNA מעביר למאגר משטרת ישראל למאגר DNA, ובשני המקרים אנחנו מוצאים התאמה ליחיא סינואר, ככה שיש לנו בעצם גם DNA, גם טביעת אצבע וגם שיניים של יחיא סינואר. כל הנתונים האלה מצויים בידי משטרת ישראל ובידי שב"ס, ולמעשה
The magnificent Delaware Memorial Bridge brings one to Wilmington in Delaware from New Jersey. This is the place with which Joe Biden has close ties. And Delaware is also the sister state of Gujarat with a big Gujarati diaspora population. This is Delaware, the hometown of US President Joe Biden, and we are at the Alchmere Academy. This is the school to which Joe Biden went as a child, and this is Delaware, his hometown. And Joe Biden was an exceptional student at Alchmere Academy. He was the class head, in fact. He played multiple games here. He also played football here. That's what we hear from the locals here who don't want to speak on record but have a tale of Joe Biden here. He was here till 1961. And this also is the venue for the Quad Summit. If you go around Delaware and speak to people, everybody has a tale to say about Joe Biden. And also people say that he is a good man. He is somebody who started his career here at Delaware. In fact, when his family moved here in 1953, after that he went to school here, this particular school, the Alchmere Academy, Delaware, where he studied. After that he went to the University of Delaware, which is not far from here, from where he graduated, and he entered the political arena in 1973 by becoming a senator for the first time. In fact, he represented Delaware as a senator for almost 4 decades, from 1973 to 2009. But this July, President Joe Biden made this declaration that he will not be participating in the presidential race anymore. Joe Biden, though earlier he kept on insisting that he would enter the presidential race, later has opted out and is going, in a way, in the sunset of his career. The Quad event also was like a farewell event for Joe Biden, and locals here say that though he's a good man, he's a good president, and some people even said that he's been a landmark politician who has carried everybody along. Many say it is in the best interest of the Democrat Party that he has made for Kamala Harris to contest as the presidential candidate of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is somebody who's seen as a very, very respected figure, but at 84 years of age, Joe Biden is now walking into the sunset of his political career.
On day one. That's what you're going to get with President Trump. I can't say that for the other side, but with President Trump, he has been a former president. And so he'll be able to walk into the Oval Office on day one and deliver. And that's very important right now with the challenges that we're facing in America and certainly across the world.
So experience is key. You mean the acumen may come from experience. There's no learning time here at the Oval Office, too.
That's right. And I've said that, that exact phrase I said here recently, acumen comes with experience, and the Oval Office cannot be a classroom. So it's not a time for a candidate to walk into the Oval Office and have to spend time learning the position. And we're in times that are necessary for leadership that knows what to do on day one. And that's a guarantee with President Trump. And it certainly, now is a guarantee with Prime Minister Modi with his reelection. And again, I think the people had the same sentiments in India that we have in America, that we want day one leadership based on the challenges that we're facing within our own countries and who we represent, what the United States and India now represent to the world. We have to have leadership that can effectively lead on day one.
Mary, on that note, the last question I would ask you that, 53% of the voters in the US are women. So don't you think Kamala Harris has an advantage here, as possibly she's projecting herself as the first woman president of USA? I know Hillary Clinton couldn't do it, but Kamala Harris looks very confident, especially after Joe Biden has said he will not enter the race.
Well, you're right. 53% of the vote in America are females. And so women, moms, or grandmoms, all women will play a very big role in our election, as they always do on that note. But I must say, there's been a lot of conversation about, Vice President Harris running, being a female, if that has an impact on our election. Now, let me certainly say, I think it's important to see women continue to run in positions that we haven't had occupied by a woman. And so it's for one day, I think it will be America will be excited to see that happen. However, I will say that we are not Americans are not citizens who vote on gender. We vote for what's best for the country. And so I have to always push back on that notion because we're an intelligent people, just like the Indian citizens are. American citizens are an intelligent people. So we don't necessarily look at a gender conversation. We look at which candidate has the best policies to create an equal playing field for all Americans. Which candidate has the best policies to maintain the stability and the security and what's best for the world? Which president has the best policies? And that's how American citizens, we are an intelligent people. That's how we vote. And I believe and I'm confident that that's how Americans are going to vote in November, not based on gender or things that don't necessarily have an impact on how effectively a president can lead. But what are the best policies for all Americans? What are the best policies as it relates to America's position and leadership in the world?
Election season in the US, we can't escape that question. What do you think who's going to win in the US elections, and who do you think would be better for India, Kamala Harris or Mr. Donald Trump?
I mean, I have a rule that I never predict either the results of Indian elections or the results of US elections, because I think voters always have a tendency to surprise us. And there are too many factors like who's going to turn out when and where that kind of make a difference. So I'm not going to offer you predictions. I think as India will have to calculate it, India doesn't get a vote. And so it will deal with, because the US has become important not just for India's regional security balance, but because, as Prime Minister Modi has outlined it, that the US has become indispensable for India's economic and technological transformation, India will adapt to whichever candidate wins. I think there will be the questions they will have there will be different questions with President Kamala Harris. They would be thinking about how much continuity will there be with President Biden? Will she take the same competitive approach to China? How much will things like democracy and human rights play a role? But I think on the main, there will be, and I think this would probably be India's judgment, more stability than in the case of President Trump, where it's not that India is unfamiliar, it will just be different questions. Will President Trump want to reach a deal with Xi Jinping? Or will he continue, India would prefer that he actually goes back to his competitive China approach that he had in the first term. But there will be other problems. India might prefer President Trump's Russia approach, but there will be problems in terms of trade, as President Trump former President Trump said the other day. He thinks of India as quote unquote a very big abuser on the trade and tariff front. So there will be pressure on not just India but many others. Will he encourage American businesses, as the Biden administration is encouraging businesses to go invest in Indian production and manufacturing? It's less possible that that's the case. And you will see a President Trump that on immigration issues will be tougher for India to manage. But nonetheless, as I said, I think India will adapt to whoever American voters decide to place in the White House in November.
I will make America safe again. On day one of my new administration, the invasion ends and the deportation begins.
The story of the US elections is also a story about the two presidential debates. When the first presidential debate was held in June, Donald Trump seemed to have beaten the US President Joe Biden hands down. In July, Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt and his stock seemed to be soaring very high. But come September, in the second presidential debate which was held between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, Kamala Harris seemed to have stole the show. Will the decision of the Democrats to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris prove to be the masterstroke in US elections, or does Donald Trump still enjoy the sympathy post his assassination attempt?
In my opinion, Kamala murdered him, just like she had a gun in her hand.
The consequences of him ever being president again are brutally serious.
The US elections are on the razor's edge amidst a close contest. CNN News 18 spent over 2 weeks traveling across the US, from New York to Washington, D.C., California and Delaware, to get you people's voices from the ground. Thank you so much for watching.